I always wanted a dramatic K-drama moment. I just didn't expect to be the sad, rain-soaked Cinderella knockoff in it. No carriage, just betrayal instead of a prince. Neon bleeds across the puddles like spilled paint. Cars hiss by, their tires slicing the downpour into ribbons. My shirt clings to my skin, my heart does the same to my ribs. On my phone screen, a photo I should never have seen keeps shining back at me, my ex, smiling with my best friend, standing under the banner for my product launch. The one they pitched to the investor without me. The one I designed, wrote, and bled coffee for. Their caption reads, "Couldn't have done it without each other." Cute. I shove the phone into my pocket before I smash it against a lamppost. The rain tastes like pennies in city air. Every breath scrapes. I don't know where I'm running, I only know away. Away from the cozy apartment with the 2 toothbrushes. Away from a future I'd curated like a minimalist mood board. Away from the person I was 2 hours ago. I cut through a narrow alley dripping with rust and old posters. Out onto a broad, half-abandoned square where the city forgets itself. A cracked fountain, a dead clock. 3 bent benches. The rain here feels louder, as if more sky found the idea personally offensive. I stop under a flickering streetlight. Steam coils from a grate near my shoes. I press my palms to my eyes until little comets streak across the darkness. Okay. I tell the rain, the sky, the indifferent ghosts of property developers. Message received. I am, officially, the universe's punchline. Not a bad punchline, a voice replies. Smooth and effortless, as if it was always here, simply waiting for me to hear it. But perhaps you'd prefer a better one. I jerk so hard my neck pops. He's 10 feet away, where the square folds back into shadow. Tall black umbrella like a quiet halo of dryness. Suit cut to mathematical precision. White shirt that somehow refuses to soak. He steps into the shivery neon like he owns it. And his eyes, no. I must be delirious. But even through rain, they carry a warm metallic thread. Gold, not the brash kind, the old kind, temple light gold. Ring on a thumb gold. He smiles like mischief learned to stand upright. I say, because I am a Pulitzer-level conversationalist in crises. If this is a very expensive umbrella sales pitch, I'm broke. Then we're already speaking the same language, he answers lightly. He's close enough now that I can see how absurdly fine his features are. Sharp without being cruel, like a calligrapher's stroke that decides against spilling ink. Evan Lee, yes? My stomach drops. Do I know you? You do now. He cocks his head. Rain beads along the umbrella's rim. You look like someone who's ready for change. Is that your polite way of saying I look like a drowned raccoon? Adorable, but not my wording. He glances up at the ragged clouds, then back at me. Tell me what you want, Evan. The way he says my name snags against something in me, like a bow catching a string. I should be scared. I am, kind of. But it shares a seat with a stupid primal relief that someone noticed I'm falling. Okay, I say, because apparently tonight, I am auditioning for Poor Choices Live. I push wet hair off my forehead, and try to stand straighter. What is this, some kind of coaching? A pyramid scheme? If you start with mindset, I swear I'll drown myself right here. He laughs, not loud. Warm and sparkling, impossible to aim at. No pyramids, no mindset, a contract perhaps, a bargain, a wish, I repeat, flat and brittle. You want a coin for the fountain? It's dead. The fountain doesn't grant anything. He takes one step closer. The dryness under his umbrella breathes against my face, a hush in the storm. Close like that, he smells faintly of something cold and clean, night air on hot stone. But I blink. Are you, for real? As the rain, his gaze is steady, unblinking the way confident people are, or predators are, or saints in old paintings are. You want it all to change. You want the ground to open and swallow the night you just had. You want to never again stand there with proof in your hand and your heart in your throat. My throat tightens anyway. You some kind of therapist with an LED budget? Some kind of... The corner of his mouth tips up. Name's Kairos. Kairos. The word curls in my mouth like a secret. That's not a normal name. Neither are normal nights. His voice gentles in a way I shouldn't believe. Say the wish, Evan. One, anything. I'll do the rest. For a small price. I take a step back. There it is. The small price. Is this where you take a kidney? Because spoilers, rental market already did. Nothing so gruesome. He looks briefly amused. A favor, eventual, negotiable. Or a memory you no longer need. Or simply your promise to keep your end if I keep mine. His eyes flick, briefly, definitely gold. Equivalent exchange. But with taste. You're joking. Look at me. He doesn't touch me. Doesn't have to. The noise of rain seems to shift around his words. A room full of people turning toward a singer. The night is offering you an exit. Not punishment for them. A door for you. Something in my chest goes very still. The square feels deserted and crowded at once. Like the city is holding its breath. The clock's hands haven't moved in years. Still, I could swear I hear a click. You don't even know what I want, I say, softer. He studies me, and for a heartbeat I see no umbrella, no suit. Only patience, ancient and oddly fond. I know the outline. I stare at the half-broken fountain. My reflection is a smear. I'm 27. I'm a designer who can build whole worlds in a rectangle. I am, at this exact second, a ruin. And here is a man with gold in his eyes offering, what? A rewrite? A single stingy wish? What if I want something impossible? My voice wobbles. What if I want all of it different? Not revenge, not rewind, just change. A life where this doesn't define me. The smile he gives me is almost proud. Then say it. The square empties out until there's only my voice and the rain. I want everything to change, I tell the night. I want a life that isn't built on them. A beat, and then the air wakes up. The umbrella's rim purls into a ring of light. The crack in the fountain glows along its break like a sunrise trapped in stone. The streetlight steadies. The hiss of tires turns to the hush of waves far away. Gold threads the dark, so thin I might be imagining it, and then thicker, weaving through. The rain as if someone found the loom of weather, and decided it needed better fabric. Kairos steps closer. Close enough that if he wanted, we'd share the small country of his umbrella. He lowers his head the faintest fraction. Done. I let out a laugh that sounds like surrender. That's it? I don't sign in blood? Please, he says, amused. I'm not a parody. The gold in his eyes brightens, just a shade, just enough that I know this isn't a trick of neon. There will be terms. Later. You'll like them better dry. Do I at least get a copy of the... Whoa. A band of warmth slides through my spine. Not heat exactly. More like gravity changing its mind about me. The square tilts. Or I do. The umbrella's dry air presses gently at my cheeks, then dissolves into rain again. Light knits along the edges of things. The bench, the broken clock, my fingertips. As if the world remembered an outline it once had, and is drawing it back in. Side effect, Kairos says, distant and tidy, as though discussing a harmless medication. It will pass. What will? The question drops from my lips. The square folds. The rain hushes. The gold lines pull into a single seam across the dark. And then, dark opens like a door. I fall through it, not scared, not even surprised, only suddenly, gloriously weightless. Like the punchline changed. The last thing I see is Kairos tipping the umbrella toward me, as if to bless the moment. Gold flickers where his eyes should be. Then everything, sound, rain, hurt, goes quiet, and I let go. The world comes back as light. Not sunlight, not the cruel neon of last night's rain-soaked city either. This light glimmers, hovers, like someone cracked open a jewelry box full of stars, and forgot to close it. I'm standing, no floating, on a bridge made of glass, or maybe water, or maybe the idea of both. It stretches across a city that looks nothing like mine. Towers of mirrored stone, streets, paved with constellations, rivers glowing faint blue under a sky that has no top or bottom. Everything hums like it's alive, and singing very softly to itself. I check my hands. Same hands. Same stupid damp shirt clinging to me. The air tastes cold and metallic, like someone froze moonlight and ground it into dust. Oh, I say to no one. Cool. Either I'm dead, or I got the deluxe food poisoning package. You're welcome. I spin around so fast I almost slip on the star-glass water bridge thing. There he is. Kairos, leaning against a railing that didn't exist 2 seconds ago. Black suit, crisp as law. Hair not even pretending to obey gravity. He looks like a CEO who got lost on his way to a magazine cover shoot and decided to conquer a dreamscape instead. His eyes still carry that metallic thread, faint in this strange light. He watches me like he already knows the punchline. Where am I? I demand. He spreads his hands. The world between your pulse and your breath. People call it many things. Dreamscape works, or nightmare district, depending on the neighborhood. I blink at him. This is a dream. More or less. He strolls closer, each step sending rings of light across the bridge. Less because you didn't build it. More because you can fall off if you're not careful. I peer over the side. The bridge falls away into an endless sea of clouds and fragments of mirrors. In some, I catch glimpses. My old apartment, my ex's smile, a 7-year-old version of me eating cereal straight from the box. I yank my eyes back fast. Okay, I say. Funhouse therapy. Very immersive. How do I wake up? By living through it. He sounds amused. Consider it the onboarding phase. I stare. Onboarding. Like a job? Well, you did sign a contract. I did not. I pinch my arm hard enough to leave marks. Ow. Still here. Okay. Nope. Not dreaming. Or having the worst dream etiquette ever. Kairos smirks. Still think I'm a cheap magician from a bad drama? Mid-budget at best, I shoot back. Your faith warms me. I drag my hands down my face. Right. Let's pretend this is real for a second. Why am I here? What exactly did I sign up for when I yelled my little midlife crisis wish in the rain? He leans against the railing again, folding his arms. A connection, between you and me. Between you and change itself. The wish sets things in motion. The link keeps them from unraveling. I glare. That sounds like something people say before revealing the fine print in Latin. No Latin, he says. Too pretentious. Greek then. Old runes. Blood curses? He almost laughs. Almost. Evan, you asked for everything to change. That requires balance. Anchors. A door doesn't stay open unless something holds it. And that something is me? His eyes catch the light. Us. Something in his tone makes my stomach do an odd little flip. I shove my hands into my wet pockets. Fantastic. So, I'm stuck with you. Stuck? He tilts his head. Such ingratitude. Most people would pay for my company. Yeah, well, most people probably don't wake up on a floating bridge in a magic screensaver with some guy in demon cosplay telling them about anchors. Demon cosplay, he repeats slowly, like he's tasting the words. That's new. I squint at him. Wait. Are you actually... He cuts me off with a lazy wave. Labels bore me. Call me what you like. Demon, dreamkeeper, cosmic middle management. None change what happened. I pace across the bridge, trying not to look down at the endless mirrors. My reflection keeps following, but sometimes it smiles when I don't. So what? There's no undo button? I ask finally. Do you see one? He gestures at the sprawling city of light and shadow around us. Towers shift like they're breathing. A staircase unrolls itself from a nearby wall, then folds back up like origami. You wanted change. It's coming. I stop pacing. And if I decide I don't want it anymore? Kairos watches me for a long moment, expression unreadable. Then, you'd be the first. Great. No pressure. I cross my arms. And what do you get out of this? Besides free rent in my nightmares. His mouth curves, but not into his usual smirk. Something smaller. Maybe I like watching the pieces rearrange. For a second, just one, I think there's something under that calm voice, something heavy. Then it's gone, and he's smiling again. Besides, you make interesting faces when you're annoyed. I throw my hands up. Perfect. A demon stalker with a sense of humor. You're welcome, he says again, like he's giving me a gift basket. Before I can reply, the bridge tilts under my feet. Light folds inward, mirrors shatter into quiet silver rain, and the towers start melting into the clouds. Kairos doesn't move. Ah. Time's up. Morning comes whether you approve or not. The world snaps like a curtain in wind. And I wake up in my bed, sheets tangled, heart hammering, the taste of starlight still sharp in my mouth. Somewhere between my ears, a voice like warm metal says, "Anchors, Evan. Remember." I groan into my pillow. Fantastic. I've got the dream demon from a discount fantasy series. From nowhere at all, faint and amused, mid-budget at best. My apartment looks like the aftermath of a minimalist Pinterest board getting drunk and fighting itself. Laptop open on the coffee table. Laundry staging a quiet coup in the corner. Half a burrito on the counter next to bills I keep promising to open. I'm sprawled on the couch with my phone, staring at the email I just got. Another new client. Big one. The kind of big that comes with zero warning, polite urgency, and too many zeros at the end of the budget. That makes 3 this week. I sit up slowly. Okay, that's normal, totally normal. The silence in the apartment does not disagree so much as smirk. I grab my mug of coffee. It tastes better than usual, like the beans got a pep talk. My phone buzzes again. The refund for that graphics tablet I ordered 2 months ago finally came through. Full amount. Extra $20 for processing delay. Right, I mutter. Because that happens, I try not to look at the hallway mirror. It's been twitchy. The first time, I thought it was a trick of light, rain on the glass or whatever. The second time, I was half asleep. But by the fourth, when my reflection mouthed "lucky you" a half second after I did, yeah, I stand carefully so I don't catch my own eyes. Grab jacket. Phone. Wallet. I need air. Maybe caffeine that doesn't taste like destiny. The coffee shop down the street smells like roasted heaven and capitalism. I like it because the baristas are too busy judging laptop people to care about my existential crisis. Morning, calls Chris from a corner table. Chris, best friend, part-time photographer, full-time chaos gremlin. Baseball cap backward, hoodie with an ironic wolf print, iced latte sweating on his notebook. He eyes me like he's already taking mental notes for my eventual memoir. You look, he says, weirdly alive for someone who spent last night crying into Korean takeout. Appreciate the concern. I drop into the seat across from him. Seriously. He leans forward, squinting. Your eyes are all shiny. Did you start jogging? Join a cult? Finally get laid? I stir my coffee very pointedly. Chris gasps. Oh my God. You did. You totally. I did not, I hiss. People glance over. Great. Nothing happened. Something happened. He grins like the devil on discount. Spill. New guy? Girl? Mysterious stranger with cheekbones sharp enough to cut glass? I open my mouth to deny everything. Then I see him. Outside, across the street. Leaning casually against a lamppost like a stock photo titled "Brooding Elegance." Black coat. Umbrella closed at his side even though the sky's clear. Gold thread eyes watching me through morning traffic. Kairos. My spine does something traitorous, like straightening. Chris follows my gaze. Sees nothing but pedestrians and a delivery truck. What are you staring at? Hallucinations, I say quickly. Chris studies me. You either fell in love, or you're developing a fun psychosis. Possibly both. Thanks. He sips his latte. If you start carving hearts into park benches, I'm staging an intervention. I stare into my coffee. The ripples do not, under any circumstances, spell words back at me. Probably, by the time I leave, Kairos is gone. Or so I think. Because half a block later, in the reflection of a bakery window, he's walking beside me. Perfectly real. Perfectly not there when I glance sideways. Stalking now? I mutter under my breath. Checking in, his voice says. Close, amused. I flinch. Do you mind? Some of us enjoy not looking insane on public sidewalks. Relax, he says, and somehow he's suddenly at my shoulder, in actual three-dimensional space, matching my stride. People pass by without a glance. They won't notice unless I want them to. Fantastic. Demon and exhibitionist. He smirks. You weren't complaining when I fixed your luck. I stop dead. That was you. The wish, he reminds me lightly. Remember the wish? Clients falling into your inbox, refunds appearing, coffee tasting better? You're welcome. My brain does a quick montage of every weird glitch this week. Green light staying green. Emails answered in record time. My neighbor's car alarm finally dying after 6 months. Okay. I admit slowly. Maybe convenient. But also creepy. Mirrors don't talk on their own. Side effect. He shrugs like this explains gravity too. Magic bends things. Time. Chance. Reflections. It'll settle. Settle. I repeat flatly. He tilts his head, studying me with that too calm amusement. Unless you'd rather undo it all. I think of my ex's smile on that stolen project launch photo. Of every slammed door, every late bill, every day I thought maybe this was just it. Life was one long hallway with flickering lights and no exits. No, I say finally. His smile edges toward satisfied. We walk in silence for half a block. My heart is doing this idiotic flutter thing like it missed the memo about personal boundaries. Stop looking so smug, I tell him. Can't help it, Kairos says. You're fun when you're stubborn. I shove my hands in my pockets so he doesn't see me flush. By the time I get home, the mirrors have gone quiet. But when I pass the hallway, my reflection is smirking half a beat late. And I swear, just for a second, the gold in its eyes isn't mine. The dreamscape feels colder tonight. One blink, and I'm no longer in my apartment. No longer surrounded by familiar furniture and unpaid bills. Instead, I'm standing inside a library that stretches into forever. Bookshelves spiral toward a ceiling made of stars. Actual flickering constellations pinned to velvet darkness. Bridges of light connect balconies in impossible geometry. The air hums softly, like someone's playing a song just out of hearing range. Welcome back, Kairos says from somewhere behind me. I turn to find him leaning against a marble pillar as if this was his personal reading room and not whatever this is. He looks annoyingly perfect as usual. Black coat, hands in pockets, hair refusing to be anything but cinematic. Right, I say, hugging myself. Because waking up in magical IKEA is normal now. This isn't IKEA, he says. The furniture doesn't judge you here. I eye a nearby armchair carved from something that might be silver. It absolutely looks judgmental. So, I glance up at the galaxy ceiling, then back at him. You going to explain why my dreams have DLC packs now? Kairos walks toward me slowly, steps echoing against the marble. Because you need context, Evan. And because they'll come for you soon enough. They, not a promising pronoun. I swallow. Define they. Preferably in words that don't sound like the trailer for a horror movie. He studies me for a long moment, gold thread eyes serious. I told you before, change requires balance. Anchors. Doors held open cost power. My rivals want that power. Rivals. I gesture broadly at the endless shelves. You mean, other demons. His mouth twitches. Some call us that. Some call us keepers. Some call us nightmares with paperwork. I stare. Do you have demon Hoa meetings or something? A tiny smile flickers over his mouth before vanishing. We rule different corridors of the dreamscape. Most of us agree on boundaries. Some don't. And me? I ask. He tilts his head. You made a wish big enough to light a signal fire across half the realm. They'll smell the magic on you before long. I blink at him. You're telling me I basically put up a neon-free real estate sign for every demon with ambition issues? Essentially, he says. Oh, fantastic. I throw up my hands. I can't keep plants alive, Kairos. I am not qualified for interdimensional politics. Something shifts behind his calm expression. Amusement maybe, but warmer this time. You're more important than you think. I open my mouth for a sarcastic reply. Don't get the chance. Because the stars above us ripple. And out of the nearest mirror, a floor-length pane of glass leaning between two shelves, something crawls. It's humanoid only in the sense that it has limbs, long fingers like bent branches, face a smear of shadow with too many eyes opening in slow sequence. My brain forgets English for a second. Nope, I say finally. Absolutely not. Close the tab. Delete my account. The creature lunges. I trip backward into a stack of books that topple without a sound. Cold air slams against my chest as claws rake. And stop. Kairos stands between us, one hand lifted lazily. The thing jerks mid-air like a puppet yanked on strings. His eyes flare gold, brighter than I've seen before, sharp enough to hurt. Mine, Kairos says softly. The creature hisses. It sounds like metal tearing. Then it vanishes into the mirror, glass rippling shut behind it. Silence floods back in. I sit up slowly, heart trying to exit my body through my throat. What, I gasp, the actual hell was that? One of them, Kairos says. He offers me a hand. Scouting. Testing your defenses. Oh good, I mutter, letting him pull me up. I was worried tonight would be boring. Then I notice the blood on my arm. Just a thin line where a claw caught me, but it stings like fire and ice took turns. Kairos frowns. Hold still. I blink. Why? His palm presses lightly over the cut. Warmth spreads through my skin, fizzing, like someone poured champagne into the wound. The pain vanishes instantly, leaving only smooth, unmarked skin behind. I stare at my arm. Okay, I say slowly. That was either magic or the weirdest spa treatment on record. He actually laughs, quiet, startled, like it snuck out without permission. For a moment neither of us moves. His hand lingers a second too long before he steps back, expression settling into calm again. They'll try harder next time, he says. Great, I mutter, can't wait for the deluxe package. Later, we end up on a park bench in what I think is the real world. Crickets, street lamps glowing through fog. My brain feels like it got run over by a philosophy textbook. So I say finally, you going to tell me what you actually are? Because demon feels incomplete. Kairos leans back, watching the mist curl between trees. We were here before words like demon. Before dreams had borders. Call us what you like. That's comforting. He glances at me, expression unreadable. You regret the wish? I think of bills paid, doors opening, chances I thought I'd lost. Of my ex's smile fading further into the past every day. No, I admit. His gaze lingers a moment longer, before returning to the fog. Then we keep going. Somewhere behind us, a mirror shivers faintly before going still. The knock on my door is too polite. Not the kind of polite that means neighbor with cookies. The kind that means salesman with a fake smile or cop with bad news. I open it anyway, because apparently I have no survival instincts left. And there they are, Ethan and Mark. My ex and my ex-best friend, matching awkward smiles, like a terrible boy band reunion no one asked for. Hey Evan, Ethan says, rubbing the back of his neck like we didn't date for 2 years before he torpedoed my life. You look great. Wow. I lean against the doorframe. So do you. Betrayal really is moisturizing. Mark winces. We wanted to apologize. I laugh. Out loud. Long enough that Ethan shifts uncomfortably and Mark glances down the hall like maybe he should have worn body armor. Apologize, I repeat. For the part where you stole my project? Or the part where you stole each other? Mark opens his mouth. I hold up a hand. Don't. I might sprain something rolling my eyes. Ethan sighs. Look, we messed up. We thought maybe we could work together again. I stare at them. At the hopeful, greedy glint barely hiding behind the guilt in Ethan's eyes. At the way Mark keeps scanning my apartment like he's mapping where the valuables are. And suddenly it clicks. Oh my God, I say. You heard. About the clients, the money, the sudden Career resurrection. They don't deny it. I grin. Big and sharp. You thought I'd crawl back? That I'd be so grateful for attention I'd forget you turned me into roadkill on your way to fame? Ethan tries for earnest. We made a mistake. No, I say sweetly. You made a choice. And now you made a second one. Congrats. Consistency really is key. I shut the door in their faces. It's extremely satisfying. I don't sleep that night. Not because of them. Because of the thing in the mirror again. Not Kairos. Something colder. Watching with too many eyes before sliding away when I turn on the light. By midnight I'm walking through the city, hood up, headphones in with no music playing, just in case. The old subway station on 9th is abandoned. Graffiti, rust, echoes of trains that haven't run in 20 years. Perfect place to either film a horror movie or have a nervous breakdown. Guess which one I get? Because when I step onto the platform, someone's already there. Not Kairos. This one wears a shape like a person might wear a suit wrong. Limbs too long, face too smooth, smile too sharp. His eyes glimmer silver instead of gold. Evan Lee, he says, voice like oil on water. The Wishmaker. My feet want to back up. I don't let them. Haunted subway tours are next door. He smiles wider. You smell of open doors and spilled power. My compliments to Kairos. He always did gamble too high. You know him, I say. A low chuckle. Know him? I taught him half his tricks. Before he grew soft. He steps closer. The air bends wrong around him, like heat over asphalt. Come with me, little Wishmaker. I can give you more than he ever will. Yeah. Hard pass. I turn to leave, and hit something invisible, cold, and solid as glass. The platform flickers, shadows crawl up the walls like spiders. My pulse trips over itself. He's caging me in. Your kind always wants more. The silver-eyed thing murmurs. Fame, love, revenge, I can give it. All it costs is... Shutting up, says a new voice, sharp as breaking metal. The air cracks open behind him. Kairos steps through. No umbrella. No suit neatness. Goldfire threads his eyes, brighter than I've ever seen. His coat snapping in wind that doesn't exist. Move, Kairos says. The silver-eyed man tilts his head. Still protecting your toys, I see. Mine, Kairos says, soft and lethal. The thing laughs. Yours. You're not supposed to keep them, Kairos. You're supposed to spend them. I have no idea what that means, because suddenly they're both moving. Light and shadow slam together, shattering the platform into splinters of dream and steel. The air howls. Concrete cracks like glass under their power. I hit the ground hard. Something slices my arm. Pain flares. And then Kairos is there, kneeling, hand over the cut, eyes still burning gold. Stay down, he says, voice rougher than I've heard before. The silver-eyed thing lunges again. Kairos meets him mid-air, both vanishing into a whirl of light and dark that makes my teeth ache. When the world snaps back, the platform is empty except for us. Kairos stands over me, shoulders heaving, gold glow fading slowly from his hands. I stare up at him. You... My voice cracks. You were scared. His jaw tightens. Not angry. Not cold. Something raw bleeding through the calm mask he always wears. And that's when it hits me. He's not just some demon running cosmic errands. He cares, maybe too much. The dreamscape is dying. Or maybe it's just changing too fast for my eyes to keep up. Ziggurats of mirrored glass crack from the inside out, shards falling upward into a sky that shouldn't exist. Light pours through the fractures in gold and silver, fighting itself, twisting into storms that scream without sound. Bridges collapse into rivers of stars. Whole towers tilt, melting like wax before vanishing in blasts of shadow. And in the middle of it all, Kairos stands like someone decided gravity doesn't apply to him anymore. His coat whips around him in wind that smells like ozone and endings. Gold threads his eyes so bright they almost hurt to look at. 3 of them surround him, the silver-eyed one from the station, and 2 others made of something darker than shadow, faces hidden, claws dragging sparks along the broken floor. They want me. I can feel it every time their gazes snap my way, cold and hungry. But Kairos keeps them back, lines of burning gold slicing the air every time they try to rush him. The ground shakes. The sky bends. I cling to the remains of a staircase that leads nowhere and yell over the noise, "You're going to tear this whole place apart!" Kairos doesn't look back at me. That's the idea. The tallest rival laughs, low and harsh. "Soft, Kairos. You've gone soft for a mortal. No wonder they'll rip this realm from you." They lunge together. Light explodes. White, gold, silver, turning the whole dreamscape into a single blinding sun. I duck, throwing my arms over my head as heat, or maybe cold, or maybe both blast across the broken floor. When it clears, 2 of the attackers are down, writhing in cracks that open into nothingness beneath them. The third circles, hissing, waiting for an opening. And Kairos is swaying. The glow around him flickers like a candle in wind. His eyes are still bright, but his shoulders sag. I scramble toward him across the shattered floor. "Hey, you're bleeding? Do dream demons even bleed?" "Not usually," he says without turning. The third rival slams into him then, claws flashing. Kairos catches the blow, but it drives him to one knee. The ground splits under both of them, light pouring upward like water from a broken pipe. Something snaps in my chest. "Stop it," I yell, voice cracking. "You're tearing yourself apart." Kairos finally looks at me. Just for a second, long enough for me to see it, the choice already written in his eyes. He's going to burn himself out to keep them from getting to me. I know it the way you know a storm's coming before you hear thunder. And I can't let him. "Don't you dare," I say, stumbling closer. "Don't you dare pull some tragic sacrifice garbage on me, you." My voice breaks again, furious and scared. "You don't get to decide this alone." His mouth tilts, like he wants to smile, but can't quite manage it. "Evan," he starts. "No," I shout over the shrieking wind, the collapsing towers, the whole dreamscape unraveling around us. "You think I wanted a better life? Fine. Great. I wanted change, yeah. But not without you, you idiot." That makes him freeze. The third rival snarls, rushing again. But Kairos blasts him back with a wall of gold fire almost lazily, eyes still locked on me. I keep going, words spilling like they've been waiting forever. "You're not just some demon with cool eyes and a savior complex. You matter. To me. So if you think you're going to burn yourself out, and vanish into heroic ashes or whatever, forget it." He breathes out slowly. The glow around him falters again, just a flicker, but enough to make my stomach twist. The rival screams fury and lunges one last time, and I step between them. Stupid. Suicidal. Absolutely not in the handbook for mortals dealing with dream demons. But I do it anyway, because something in me knows he won't hurt me. The rival freezes inches away, claws trembling like they've hit an invisible wall. Gold light threads upward from the floor, wrapping around both me and Kairos like molten vines. I turn, grab Kairos's coat in both fists, and yell over the collapsing sky. "New Deal!" His eyes widen. "Evan, shut up. New Deal." My throat hurts. Not power, not luck, not any of this, just... I can barely hear myself over the storm. Just us, together. No thrones, no fear, no more running. The rival shrieks, the sound cracking like glass, as if my words burn worse than Kairos's fire. The light around us pulses. Kairos stares at me like he's seeing something impossible. Then, slowly, his hand comes up, covers mine where they're fisted in his coat. "You have no idea," he says softly, "what that will cost you." I don't care. My voice shakes. I'm done being afraid of what I want. For a moment the whole dreamscape holds its breath. Then Kairos closes his eyes. The gold flares once, bright enough to carve after images across the sky, and sweeps outward like a tidal wave. The rival screams, the sound ripping itself to pieces before vanishing into the cracks splitting open under his feet. One by one, the others fall with him, dragged down into collapsing portals, light swallowing their shapes whole. The storm dies. The towers freeze mid-collapse, then slowly knit themselves back together. Rivers of stars still. The ground stops shaking. I'm shaking though. From adrenaline or fear or everything at once. Kairos opens his eyes again. The gold is softer now. Human, almost. The hand over mine trembles. You're insane, he murmurs. Probably, I say, voice wrecked. And then he leans forward and presses his forehead to mine, like he's holding the world together by that single point of contact. No thrones, no fear. Just us. Morning doesn't so much arrive as it pads into my apartment barefoot, tracking sunshine and the smell of slightly scorched bread. I wake to a soft thump and an inquisitive, utterly unmortal. Why does the small oven hum but not glow? I sit up, hair doing interpretive dance, and squint toward the kitchenette. Kairos stands in front of the microwave like a puzzled cat in a couture. Coat, a ceramic mug in one hand, and God help us, a fork in the other. The gold in his eyes is dimmer now, threaded, like sunlight seen through honey. At his temples, there's nothing as dramatic as actual horns. Just the suggestion of ridges when the light hits right, a rumor of what he was and maybe still is. Pause, I say, lurching out of bed. We do not put metal in the humming box. He lowers the fork, chastened. How was I to know the rules changed when your species invented tiny lightning cages? Microwave, I correct, taking the fork like it's a loaded wand. And some rules never change, starting with, don't set Evan's kitchen on fire. He looks down at the mug. I wanted to make tea. I sniff the steam. This is coffee. It's dark water. He frowns. The bean's ghost is too loud. Welcome to capitalism, champ. I swap the mug for a kettle. Tea has leaves. Coffee has trust issues. He watches every motion as if I'm performing a spell. Maybe I am. In the quiet, I notice other changes. The way he leans on the counter for balance. How he blinks a half second too slowly. The steady rhythm of his breathing. Breathing. He didn't used to need that. You're okay? I ask, softer than I mean to. He considers, then nods once. Stable enough. The corridors are holding. Our contract sealed them cleaner than I expected. A small smile ghosts his mouth. Brutally inelegant. Effective. Our contract, I echo. And my chest warms like the kettle beginning to sing. He lifts a hand, studies the lines of his palm as if they're new. I am. He searches for the word, settles on. Limited. A hinge instead of a door. It feels heavy. He glances up, and for the first time since I've known him, he looks almost shy. And light. Half and half, I say. Creamer of destiny. A breath that might be a laugh. Your metaphors are a war crime. We contain multitudes. The kettle clicks off. I make tea this time. Actual leaves. He cradles the cup like warmth, is a language he's still learning to speak. We eat toast that is definitely on the char end of the spectrum. He chews with the grave attention of a food critic who suspects the chef is trying to murder him. When he finishes, he looks alarmed and vaguely proud. You did great, I say. 0 forks in microwaves. 10 out of 10. I will master your appliances, he says solemnly. Eventually, add that to your business card. Kairos, dreamkeeper, part-time kettle whisperer. He tilts his head, which sets those almost horns whispering in the light again. Dreamkeeper, he repeats. Perhaps. Less keeper now than companion. Something loosens behind my ribs. I reach across the counter, touch his knuckles. He lets me. Outside, the city remembers how to be a city. Traffic, pigeons, a neighbor's laugh through thin walls. No shattering mirrors, no silver-eyed interlopers in the corners. Somewhere far beyond the skyline, I can feel the dreamscape breathing, stitched and steady. It hums like a refrigerator at 3 a.m. Present, background, hours. Come on, I say. We're celebrating. With more dark water? With choices. The barista at the corner cafe has seen everything and respects none of it. I love her deeply. We take the small table by the window, where morning paints the wood in squares. Kairos studies the menu as if it's a diplomatic treaty. He points to matcha latte and says, with confidence, leaf coffee. Close, I say. Tea, in a fancy outfit. He orders both, a matcha and an espresso, then proceeds to confuse them with the solemn intensity of a man defusing a bomb. "This one is too green," he declares after a sip of espresso. "That one is too tiny." I tell him about the matcha, and he narrows his eyes at me, catching on to the joke. The barista drops off a croissant the size of a small moon, raises an eyebrow at me like, "Your boyfriend can't tell beverages apart." I shrug, which is to say, I know. It's adorable. She softens half a millimeter, which for her is practically a hug. Kairos peels the croissant like he's handling ancient parchment. Flakes land on his coat, and he looks offended on behalf of the garment. Then he bites in and goes very still. I watch him learn butter. "Do not cry," I warn. "I am not crying," he says, voice thick. "Your world hides miracles under ridiculous names. Welcome to pastries." He sips the matcha, correct cup this time, then the espresso, then returns to the matcha with an expression that says, "I will not be defeated by grass milk." The gold in his eyes brightens a shade. Not a flare, just a glow, like something content behind glass. We talk, not about thrones or rival corridors, but about bus routes, and the fact that my landlord's dog is named Linda, which he finds upsetting for reasons he refuses to explain. When I ask if the others are gone, his face goes quiet. "Not gone," he says. "Bound differently. The realm has rememberings. They'll try the locks again someday, but the door they wanted," he looks at me, "is not for them." "You say the most romantic things," I murmur, and he smiles without meaning to. Silence. Comfortable as a sweater. The window shows us back to ourselves. Me with a lipstick smear of jam at the corner of my mouth. Him with morning warmed into his cheeks, the faintest shimmer at his temples if you happen to believe in impossible things. In the reflection, our shoulders tip toward each other like magnets that forgot to be polite. "I wanted change," I say, letting the words sit between us like another cup, "but I didn't think it would come with horns and golden eyes." His mouth curves. "Barely horns. Suggested horns," I amend. "Artist's impression. I can hide them," he says quietly, as if offering to tuck the ocean into a smaller glass. "Please don't." I thread our fingers under the table. His hand is warm, mortal warm, and it undoes me in places I didn't know were knotted. I like the parts that don't fit. He exhales, long and slow, and leans back like someone took a weight from his shoulders and replaced it with a sunbeam. Outside, a cyclist rings a bell. Inside, the espresso machine hisses like a satisfied cat. In the far corner, a kid smears foam across his upper lip and roars like a tiny lion. The mirror behind the counter catches every face in the room, including ours, and for a heartbeat, just one. I swear it shows a little. Further forward, the two of us at this table again. A stack of napkins, scribbled with plans. A city map dotted with circles. A life. I blink. The mirror is just a mirror again. "Anchors," I say under my breath. "Together," he answers. We finish the croissant. He chooses tea for the road. I pretend not to notice when he pockets a sugar packet for research. On the sidewalk, the sun has finally committed to the bit. All in. Everything bright. We walk nowhere in particular. That feels like the point. At the corner, a puddle catches the sky and throws it back. A quicksilver doorway to somewhere we could go if we needed to. The surface ripples. Not a warning. An invitation. "Later," I tell it. "Later," Kairos echoes, and squeezes my hand. Change came. It didn't ask permission, and it didn't bring instructions. It brought a man who used to be a door, and now chooses to stand in one with me, shoulder to shoulder, laughing at appliances and learning butter and promising, without words, that when the next corridor opens, we will decide together whether to step through. For now, the street is enough. The day is young. The world hums. And we go.